Hi, boys and girls. Do you remember what was happening last time with Gordy? Remember how he had walked down into the dark spot in the lost city? How he looked around and everything was all dead and horrible. And then he saw that. Do you remember what he saw that was so scary? Yeah, that big statue to that horrible god of the people, and it was all icky and had big claws and stuff, and how he saw that everything was dead in the city. No birds, no bugs, no animals. And so anyway, and he'd been walking through, and remember he heard those zing noises. Zing. Do you remember what it was? Yeah. It was those little darts that had the poison on the end of it, and they were popping right around him. And Gordy was sitting there, and he behind a big rock, and he heard the voices of the people coming closer, and he was looking around, and there was really no place to hide, and he just went, God, here I am again. I really need your help. And he heard voices coming closer. They were looking for him, and they were going to find him. And all of a sudden, the wind started blowing, and he looked up, and he saw big dark clouds come rolling across the sky fast, and the lightning was shooting out of the clouds. It was like a storm, and it was coming right at him, and he was like, whoa. And he said it was so fast. He looked up, and it was like right over him, and it was booming and booming, and the lightning was shooting out and shooting out. And Gordy thought, this is my chance to run and hide. And so then big drops of rain started falling down on him, and he looked around, and he saw the Indians running for cover, and so he thought, I'm going to run in the opposite direction. And he took off running down this hill, and he went around a rock, and there was a tree, and he went, and there was like a little stream, and he ran through it to the other side, and then all of a sudden he was in the sunshine. And so he just kept on running, because he didn't know they could be right behind him, because they were like so close to him. And then he turned around, he looked, and he saw, it was so strange, because right back where he was, it was still raining, and there was that dark cloud was over it with the lightning, but where he was now standing, the sun was shining, and it was beautiful, kind of in that, icky dark place of the lost city. So he thought, I'm just going to keep on going. And as he was walking away, he was like, thank you, God, for sparing my life once again. And he looked around, there was just like so many places that you could go, and he was trying to figure out, where could they hide Agent Taylor? Where could he be? Because when you looked around, you saw, you didn't really see buildings. You saw like broken down things and stuff sticking out of the yard and stuff and all that and everything. And so he just was walking around. He's like, which way should I go? And then he kind of heard a noise, and something caught his eye, so he went behind the rock again, because he thought, well, maybe the Indians have found me now. And he turned around and he looked. He could not believe who he saw coming. Can you figure out? Do you know who it was? That's right. It was Dubious Pathfinder. And he was just walking like, he was like, whoa, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just going to go, and I'm going to go. And you know what Gordy wanted to do? He wanted to jump out, and he wanted to smash his face, because he left him in the jungle. But then he knew he wouldn't, that wouldn't do him any good at all. So he thought, I'm just going to go very quietly, and I'm going to follow Dubious Pathfinder, and maybe he will take me to where Agent Taylor is. And maybe he will help me find the chameleon. Whoa, wouldn't that be something? So he crept along, and Dubious Pathfinder was walking towards this hill. There's a hill, and he was climbing up this hill, and so Gordy was going slowly back behind a rock, and then back behind some stuff out of the ground, and then going slowly, slowly. And Dubious Pathfinder walked up the hill, and there was a giant rock, and he walked behind the rock. And Gordy stood real still, waiting for him to come out. And he waited, 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 and he waited. But Dubious Pathfinder did not come out. So Gordy thought, oh man, he probably saw me and he's just waiting for me to come up, and then he's going to try to get me. But I can't just stand here and do nothing. So he crept up the side of the hill slowly, slowly, keeping his eye on to make sure Dubious Pathfinder didn't come out. But every so often he would look back to make sure that the Indians weren't coming after him on that side. So he just kept going and going. And then he got up to the rock. And he started, it's a big rock. And he started going around it slowly, because he thought, oh, he could be back there waiting to jump out at me. Because he knew he didn't get away. So it's like, where could he be? Where could he be? So he went around the rock, waiting. And he went around, and he was ready for Dubious Pathfinder to jump out and go and get him. But there was no one there. And so he looked around. There was no Dubious Pathfinder. So he walked around the rock, looking. No Dubious Pathfinder. He walked around the rock again. No Dubious Pathfinder. Where could he be? So then he started looking more closely, and he saw off behind the rock next to the hill, there was just a big pile of junk laying there. And Gordy thought, maybe he's hiding behind there. So he walked over slowly, and then he saw it. You know what he saw? No, you didn't guess this one. It was an opening behind, I think, like maybe it looked like an old mine shaft. And it went into the hill. And Gordy thought, oh, I'll bet they used to mine stuff here. Maybe they mined the crypto phase here from this place. So then he walked up and he saw an opening, and it kind of went in like into, he peeked through and he couldn't see too much, except that it looked like there was a bigger opening on the other side. So he thought, well, I'll go slowly and I'll check it out. So he crept in slowly, and it was kind of like a hallway, kind of like an opening like that. And so he went slowly, and then at the end there was like a big opening. And he thought, oh, I wonder what's on the other side of there. And so he walked up, and then he was like, before he got there, he thought, oh my gosh, he's probably waiting for me on the other side to get me. Should I do this? Or is this a crazy thing? What should I do? And so he went a little farther, and he was thinking, what am I going to do? But then he thought his friend, Agent Taylor, was trusting that he was going to find him. And so he knew it was important that he pushed on forward. And so he just decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And maybe I'll find Agent Taylor. Maybe I'll even be able to get that crypto face and get it away from the chameleon if he has it. And maybe I can help save the lost city. So he just stepped forward and he stepped into the room. Boys and girls, what is waiting for Gordy Googleberry? Oh my gosh, what is going to happen to him? Are they waiting for him on the other side? Did the Indians somehow get inside there and with their spears and all their stuff? Was the chameleon waiting to get him? Is Agent Taylor gonna be saved? Well, to find out, you have to come back next week for the continuing story of Gordy Googleberry.